Hello, welcome everybody. So today I'm going to talk about study skills, study tips for high school students and college students with ADHD, without ADHD, or executive functioning challenges or learning differences. This is the area that I love to talk about. I'm glad you're all here. Welcome, come on in. And I'm going to start in just a little bit, and I'm going to talk about study skills, and this is what I'm here for. So before I start, please feel free to share this video with anybody that you know that might be interested in this topic. Share out on Facebook, share it out on Instagram or Twitter. I would love to have lots of guests. And as soon as you come in, add a comment in the room. I would love to know who's here. Let me know where you're from, and let me know if you're a parent or a student or an educator and whoever it is that you've come in for. And we're going to start in a little bit. And if you don't know me, my name is Miner-Rosen. I am a certified life coach. I'm a certified career coach, but I work mostly with high school seniors and college students and young adults that have ADHD or don't have it, that have learning differences, executive functioning deficits, any kind of learning challenge that they're having, and that's who I love to work with. My clients are all over the country. I work with them mostly on Zoom video broadcasting, but what I'm going to do is every Friday come on and do a Facebook Live and share a certain topic. So if you have an idea for a topic, please feel free to share it with me, let me know, and please add your comments, let me know that you're here. I'm just going to check to make sure that everything is up and running and we are good. So welcome, and I'm going to talk about study skills. It's been an interesting week, and I like to talk about topics that are on the top of my mind and also on the top of my client's mind. And this week, I've had 4 different clients tell me that they really struggled with the midterms. They really had a hard time studying for them. They crammed at the last minute. They didn't do as well as they thought. And we were starting to talk about certain study skills that you can actually start now, even though finals are a little bit away. You might have some other tests coming up. So these skills will really help. And feel free to share this with anybody, because it's not just for students with ADHD or learning differences. It really can help anybody. So the first thing, I also want to say hi to anybody that's in the room. Come on in. Put in the comments where you're from, what your name is, what you do. Are you a student? Are you a parent? And I would love to shout you out. So please, put up little thumbs or the little guy with the shock sign. Also, just so you know, even if it's on the replay, I do want to know your comments. So let's get started. How can you succeed for the year? How can students really get the maximum out of their notes, study for tests, study for midterms, study for finals, and pass those tests and do really, really well on them? And I just want to let you know that a lot of students with ADHD have trouble with memory, have trouble memorizing things, and really struggle with areas like testing. So one thing I noticed, I did some research, and 84% of students study. This is how they usually study. 3 to 4 days before a test, they usually read a textbook, they review their notes, and maybe they glance at the study guide, and that's about it. Cramming doesn't help. It just won't help. No matter how much you cram, it's not helping. So I'm going to give you some tips to help you so that you're not cramming at the last minute. The other problem, if you're cramming at the very last minute, you're probably very nervous, very stressed out, and it's even harder to focus, to stay on task. And if your heart's beating, then your head is not studying and taking in the material. So one of the most important things that I've learned, I was a teacher for 12 years with the New York City schools, and one of the things that I've learned over the years is it's important not to wait until 3 to 4 days before the test. And you don't want to wait until then to open up your notes. You don't want to wait until the last minute to review your notes. So it's hard to study when you're stressed or discouraged or frustrated. So in order to get information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, you have to review, review, review. And what that means is I want you to try to review every single night after you get home from school. This is going to be a very tricky thing if you're not used to doing it, but I guarantee that it's going to work. So if you take each night 10 to 20 minutes and look over your notes every single night, it doesn't take very long. I want you to highlight or underline the important items that you learned each day. And then notice, as you're going through your notes, what did you understand and what didn't you understand? So while the information is really fresh in your mind, you want to go through it and look at it and also see if there's anything that you missed. Let's say you got a little distracted in class, and that happens. You want to highlight or underline the things that you missed and where you can fill in. And the best way to fill in the missing spots is you can call another student or ask another student who was there, hey, I missed that, what the teacher said. Can you share that with me? Or you can look online and see if you can fill in the information, or look back at the textbook to see if there was any information. While you're doing this, try to eliminate distractions. And I know that's easier said than done. Try to turn off your phone, try to turn off the screens, and if you can, print your notes. It's really important to have a hard copy of your notes as opposed to looking on the screen and looking at information. So here's another tip. If you can, and I know this is kind of out of your comfort zone, I want you to try it to see if it helps. If you really want to get that A or B on a test, then trust me, this works. So in addition to every single night reviewing your notes, and every night review, review, review. The more you review, the easier it's going to go into your long-term memory and help you to study and be successful in your next test. Don't wait till the last minute. So some other tips while you're doing that is to do some sort of physical movement while you're learning and while you're studying. So for example, one way is to rewrite or retype your notes or read them out loud. The action that you're doing something physical along with learning is going to help your brain take in that information much better. So I'm going to give you some other examples. Any type of activity is good while you're studying. So let's say sitting on a large ball and bouncing. You have seen that before. Some schools are putting treadmills or stationary bikes in their libraries because they're noticing and they've seen the research that there's a connection between exercise and your brain. So here's some other tips. After you read a long chapter or a passage, try to explain it to somebody and teach somebody else. When you say the words out loud and when you try to teach somebody, then you're hearing it and you're learning at the same time. It's going to help your memory. And there have been a lot of studies that are focused on studying and the relationship between movement and students' memory and doing well in school, students with or without ADHD or executive functioning challenges. Okay, so here's another tip. Oh, if you're learning a language, which can be really hard to remember, all the words are so much vocabulary, what I suggest is that you speak that language every single day. And you should talk to somebody. So if you're learning Spanish, then talk to your parents, talk to your friends in Spanish, even talk to the dog. That's okay. Talk to anybody, but talk to them in Spanish. That's a great tip. Working with a partner, when you're studying and you're working with somebody else, you can test each other. And really another great tip is to make a practice test. Yes, you make it. Create a practice test. Don't wait till you get the study guide. Don't wait till 3 or 4 days before the test. I'm talking about, as you go, create questions that you think the teacher's going to put on the test. And then, if you can, work with a partner and test each other. Ask each other questions that you think the teacher's going to put on the test. And teach each other and explain it to each other. All of those things are going to help. Creating flashcards. Creating flashcards are old-fashioned. I get it. I hear moans and groans every time I bring up flashcards. And I'm not talking about the online flashcards, not Quizlets. Although Quizlets is a great idea, students with ADHD, like I said, you need to have real physical connection, physical action with your studying. So flashcards are a great way for you to write out the explanation, even drawing a picture. You know, most of my clients with ADHD are extremely artistic. So draw a picture. If you're a visual thinker, pictures can help so much. Write out the definition on your flashcard. Have somebody test you, or you test somebody else. Give your flashcards to a friend or mom and dad and say, hey, test me, ask me questions, and I'm going to explain them. Okay, so here's another tip. Write the date of your upcoming tests or papers in your planner right now. Do it right now. So look at your syllabi. Those college students, a lot of them haven't looked at their syllabi since the beginning of the semester. Take them out now, take them out today, re-look at them, because there might be some important information about how much tests are worth, how many tests there are, what you have to do in order to get that grade you want to get. So it's super important that you open them up. I've had a lot of clients in the last couple of weeks miss projects and assignments that they didn't realize were due. They either didn't check Blackboard enough at their college or school, or haven't gone back to look at their syllabus. So super important for you to do that. So, okay, here's another tip. This is really important. Remember that exercise and hydration sharpen focus. Exercise and hydration sharpen focus. So 30 minutes, you should be working out, 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 4 to 5 times a week. That will improve. It's been shown and proven that it improves focus and executive function skills. Take a run or dance to some music or shoot some hoops. Do that right before you sit down to study for a test. Eliminate distractions. Find a quiet place, no cell phones, print out your notes. Don't use a computer, because if you use your computer, you're going to be too drawn to the other things going on. It'll be a huge distraction. Try to find a place where there's little or no distractions. And this is my final tip for the day, is when you are reading complex courses. I have a couple of clients in philosophy courses this year. Very important, try to get a hold of the hard copy of the book so you can underline and highlight and look up words that you don't know in a dictionary, not on dictionary.com, on a real dictionary. Again, keep in mind, movement and any kind of movement or bodily movement while you're studying is going to help you remember the information better. So, do you have any questions? Please put your questions in the comments. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I would love to hear from you. Love to hear if you have any questions about this topic, or if there are any particular topics that you want to hear more about. Please let me know. Let me know how you do. Let me know if you try any of these strategies and how they are and how they work for you. I would love to hear your experiences. And if you want to join, please follow me on Facebook, on Twitter. Have all my information down below. You can go onto my website at coachlynnmr.com. Sign up for our newsletter. I do webinars. I'm going to do Facebook Live so you can get some notifications. I write blogs and I give away a lot of freebies and checklists, and I would love to have you be a part of it. So welcome and have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next Friday.